guys, welcome to part 2 of my staying motivated segment and avoiding burnout. If you haven't checked out part 1, then go for it. It's more about giving you actual tips on how to stay motivated, whereas this particular video is about my personal experience. So let's just get started. So I want to share this story with you guys because I want you to learn from the mistakes that I made when I was in school. And certainly looking back, I don't believe that the way that I studied was the best way of studying, and that's because over the past 9 years actually, being through VCE and then coming out of it and seeing all my students go through it, I've really seen a correlation with the highest scoring students and how they go about studying and how they treat VCE in general and where their mentality is at. So let's go into some storytelling. I was that type of person who studied really hard. Towards maybe from July period or maybe August, I told myself that I would start writing an essay a day. And initially it was okay, it was fine actually. But then this is also on top of everything else I was doing. So repeating chapters of my maths book, repeating chapters of my chemistry book, doing practice exams and what else. And honestly, towards the last month of VCE, my final year of schooling, I was so drained. I was so exhausted from what I was doing because I was just doing the same thing over and over again. Yes, I was doing different essay topics and yes, I was writing new things, but my approach to how I studied was the same. It was just go to school, come back, study from 5 until 11 p.m, sometimes 12, once even 3 a.m, and then go to sleep and repeat the next day. It got to the point where I was literally forcing myself to write. And having that sort of mindset really just exhausted me. I stopped writing essays altogether. About 1 week or 2 weeks leading up to the exams, I just stopped. I couldn't be bothered. Honestly, I just was so tired. And that is so not the stage that you want to get to, trust me. Yeah, I was worried that I wasn't studying anymore for English and my exam was in 2 weeks, but compared to all other times throughout the year, I wasn't doing anything anymore just because I was just over it. And what I wish someone had taught me was that you don't need to study more, you need to study smarter. So if there's nothing else that you take away from today, take away that. If you study smarter, it gives you a whole different mindset in approaching VCE. So if you went down the path that I did, where I just did the same thing over and over again, I looked up essay prompts, broke them down, wrote essays, repeat. Wake up, write essays, sleep, repeat, okay? And that's not the right thing to do. Studying smarter means that you're not necessarily doing repetition, but you're potentially going about studying in different ways. So whether that's doing an essay on this day, but then the next day you'll do something else. So that's brainstorming, or the next day you might be discussing ideas with a friend, or the next day you might go and see your teacher to talk about a new way of thinking or interpreting a particular text. That's all about studying smarter, because at least then you don't just, dig yourself into a hole where you're just doing the same thing every day. Studying smarter also means taking different approaches to studying. So if that means that, you're more of a visual learner, so create mind maps. Or if you are a person who needs to write things down in order to learn, then writing little cards with quotes on them, or just doing chapter summaries. And if you're like someone who likes to talk to others to see what other ideas they have and then share those, then do that, because that's going to be 100 times more productive than what I did. So having said all that, it doesn't necessarily mean that what I did was completely bad. Like it's okay if you want to write a lot of essays. But I think when you get up to the point where you know that, okay, maybe now we're not being that productive, switch, do something else, okay? And I personally tell my students not to do an essay every single day. I might tell them to write up, a little paragraph a day, because at least that's not as tedious and draining as it is to write a full essay and dedicate 1 or more hours to that. I still did really well at the end of school, but my regret is just that I feel like if I'd gone about it a different way, perhaps I would have actually enjoyed my last years of schooling a lot more. I would have had more fun with my friends, gone out more, done more of my hobbies that I had given up for VCE, and maybe in the end I might have actually gotten a better score as a result of having that holistic view of VCE. And that's what I see from high achievers all the time. High achievers tend to be those who have the study, but they have built their lives not just around study, but around other things as well. So they've got hobbies that they're doing, they're participating in school sports, they're going on camps, they hold leadership positions at school, they're doing volunteering, they do so many of these other things, and this is actually what gives them time to breathe. It gives them time to recollect, and then when they actually need to study, they will be effective in doing so. So hopefully you enjoyed my story about getting burnt out, and I really hope that for you guys, you don't end up on the same pathway that I did, and that you really just make the most out of your last years of high school, because this is when you're becoming an adult. This is when a lot of things are happening. I know that heaps of 18s are happening. I know that formals are happening, and you're pretty much transitioning into uni life. So it's a really exciting period of your life. So don't waste it. Don't just put it all into the study. Yes, the study is important, but so is everything else in life. Cherish your family, your friends, and most importantly, yourself, as cliche as it sounds. Hopefully you guys liked this video. If you did, then give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to me as well if you want to hear more about basically VC English study tips and also VC in general and lifestyle tips, I suppose. Comment below if there's anything you want me to touch base on, because this video was in response to a viewer who requested me to do a video on motivation. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye! How would you feel if you were stuck inside a cage 24/7, left inside a dungeon where it's completely dark and there's just no way of